Well, hello and welcome to the channel. I'm glad you could join me for this, the very first video of the year 2023, right here on the channel. I thought this would be also a good time for me to introduce myself because most of the time, well, actually all the time, up till now, the only thing you ever seen were these hands. And maybe it would be a good idea to put a face with that. So my name is Johnny and I am your hillbilly modeler. So, on to the video. My glasses. I don't read so good anymore without them. And here it is. So this is what we're doing. This is the electric handy drill by Tamiya. And it is item 74041. And there is a warning right here that says, for your safety, never use NIMH batteries. See, I can't even read my glasses. So we're going to be using standard alkali batteries for this, which, oh, by the way, does not come in the kit. There are no batteries included. Additionally, the kit does not come with any drill bits or any safety goggles. I'm sure this thing is going to be throwing plastic everywhere, and we may need those. All right, so let's go ahead and jump down on the bench, and what we're going to do in this video is we're going to go ahead and build this. That's right, build it, because it is a kit. So we're going to build it, and we're also going to test it. We're going to test this drill and see what it can do for us. So let's go ahead and jump down on the bench and take a look. Down here. All right, so here we are on the bench. We probably won't need that top anymore. And we'll go ahead and pull out what we have. So there's the body, there's some mechanism, and here's all the metal parts and some grease, grease, some lubrication. So plenty of screws and stuff. So we're going to go ahead and open this stuff. Oops, wait a minute. And our instructions. We don't want to miss those. Let's go ahead and open everything up. So Tamiya does use these staples. I'm not too worried about it on this kit, but you might want to watch out with Tamiya staples, especially if they are for clear parts, because clear parts you can scratch them if you try to get everything, or should I say, pull your sprues out. And oh, we even have a sticker. There's our sticker right there for our electric handy drill. Set that aside. So we have 3 sprues. That's good. And this plastic is kind of a durable plastic. Doesn't seem to be real brittle, which is a good thing, especially if you drop it on the floor. Okay, well, these are our gears. And let's see, let's get into this. Just open this up real quick here, because we're going to need our parts. So we have our screws and washers and a bushing. And a C-clip, 2 C-clips, 3 C-clips, yeah, there in that bag. And, oh, it does come with a single bit. And some shafts or pins. So, okay, there's that. We have, I guess, a sort of a bearing. Plastic bearing, and our contacts for our batteries, along with what looks to be a lock of some kind. Spring. Okay. And then we have here, we have our electric motor with a staple stuck to the magnet. And here is another chuck, I guess. This would be the chuck. I think there's another one in here too. Yeah. Along with the collet that goes with it. All right, so what we're going to do, as we build this thing, there's going to be items, we'll set that aside. It's going to be items that we're going to have to pick through and use. So I'm just going to use these little condiment cups to hold these. That way we can find them when we need them and don't have to go digging through the bags. And however you want to organize yourself is up to you. I just suggest that you do something so parts don't go rolling off of the countertop, your workbench, and you lose them. The carpet monster or the floor monster or a little monster will get a hold of them, and then you won't be able to find them and you won't be able to complete your build. So there we are. We've got these things all separated up, just like so. And I think we can put that with that. And we're ready to begin. Okay, first thing we're going to take and do is look at, this is of course after our organizational skills have been applied. We're going to look at our instructions. Now there are some cautions here. Read fully and understand your instructions, and so you can read that at your leisure. But the important part for this video is going to be the tools that Tamiya suggests that we need. So they need, let's see, we need a large screwdriver and a small screwdriver. So a large screwdriver, a small screwdriver, long nose pliers of a certain type. This is the ones we're going to use. Some side cutters. I will be using these sprue cutters here. And we're also going to need 2 batteries. So we have 2 batteries. And also, okay, just drop the batteries. A knife. So we got our modeling knife. I also have this modeling knife with the curved blade because sometimes I just feel that it's easier to trim away those little sprue gates a little bit better. It depends upon where the location of that sprue gate is. So we're going to find out as we build this which one we're going to need. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to step 1 and step 2. That's where we're at. I can fold that right there so that we can see exactly what we're doing. Off camera, I'm going to go ahead and sort these items real quick because you don't need to see me fumbling through all that. And we will do that throughout the video to save your sanity. All right, here we are in step 1. And we're going to put these battery contacts, and I believe they are also the motor contact as well, or they contact the motor inputs. Anyway, the first one we start out with would be the long one. And it goes in, I guess, like this. Slides over. It's supposed to snap into place. And it did. It snapped right into place. That's easy. Our second contact goes in right there. And then it just snaps into place. If you can see it. Can you see it? Right here, there's a little wedge piece there that engages the slot of the contact. Not fully engaged yet. There we go. All right, so those are in. So that's it. 2 snaps and we're done. Okay. Next is step 2, which is our motor. And we have a cog that, or a spur gear, whichever you prefer, that we need to install on the shaft. And that needs to be pressed into place. Get it started there. Okay. So, according to the diagram here, we press it all the way until the shaft is even with the gear. So we're just going to put it down like so. Now I'm going to use my tweezers on that shaft, so that's all we're pressing on. So we're just pressing straight on the shaft. And you can see there's the gear flush with the end of the shaft. And we should be in good shape there. So next we need to install the motor. And these 2 contacts here on the motor goes to these 2 little contacts down here on the bracket. So it snaps into place. I guess it does. You rock it into place like that, and you, if you can see what I'm doing there, just rock the back of the motor in first and push it until it snaps. And there we go. All right, that's all that holds it in there. So that's steps 1 and 2. So here we are on to step 3. Now I've refolded this so it's not covering up the whole bench. So it looks like we're going to need grease later. Okay, looks like we need to do this first. We got a coil spring, a shaft stopper, and then there's a retainer for that. And then we've got a lock assembly. So this is item B7, and the other 2 parts are metal, and I've already sorted those. And I've cut this from the sprue. You didn't need to see me do all that. So we're going to go ahead and do this right here. We drop our stopper, shaft stopper, into place. So it comes out the side there. Okay. Next up is our coil spring. We'll drop that into place. And then we have the retainer for it. It's kind of deep down in there, so I'm using my tweezers to get it into place. There we go. Get it started in. And I think you just press it. Just press it in place. Yeah. Press it into place and it just stops down inside there. You can see it. So it just stops into place and it actually works. Of course it's Tamiya. I kind of expected it to work. So next up, let's see, this is B6 and B4. We're going to put these 2 parts in. Now this is a trigger lock, I think. So here is our button. It goes in like so. And then this piece is oriented up. So you can see we have a square there and then a square receptacle for it. And it just goes together like so. Now they also tell us that we need a 2 by 8 millimeter screw, and lucky for us the diagram is sized correctly, so we just need to put our screw on top of that to see that we got the right one. And then this screw will go right there, like that. And then we're supposed to take our small screwdriver and drive our screw in. So we're going to screw this together. Hopefully we're not screwing it up. Just got to hold it kind of firmly. There we go. Now, I would caution you, since we are using plastic parts and metal screws, you don't want to over tighten the screw. Because if you do, it will strip out the plastic and your screw will not have any purchase or any so yeah, it kind of works. Okay, lock. All right, now we'll move on to, hang on a second. Okay, so watch me lose my stuff here. So we need the parts B2, B3, and B8, and I've got those set aside right here. We also have the brass bushing, which we have right here. The screw spring and a 2mm flat washer in order to assemble this. Oh, along with our grease. Can't forget our grease. So Tamiya has given us this little bottle of grease. It says grease on it. So I guess you just twist that off, right? Yep. Twist it off, and then you can use it as a cap so the grease isn't running out all over your table, I guess. And that's not very much grease, so we probably don't need a lot. So we're supposed to put it here in these grayed in areas right here. I'll show you real quick where you can see. There we go. On the pivot points of the trigger. Also on the bushing. Here in this transfer bar, I guess. Inside those areas too of the transfer bar, and then for the sliding bar right there on the pin on the end. And all that's going to be secured together with one screw with our spring in the middle. Okay. So trigger first. We just need just a little bit of grease. A little bit of grease. Don't need a lot. Don't overdo it. Remember, we're going to use this grease also on our gears. So you don't want to use all your grease up. Now, one thing I am noticing here, other than the fact it's hard to get the grease out, we may be out of grease. I don't know. Where'd the grease go? Come on, Tamiya, you could have gave me more grease than that. Okay. All right, so this bottle is mostly air. It doesn't bode well for us, does it? So I think just kind of smooth it around right there. There we go. Don't want to waste any grease here. We obviously don't have a lot. So back to our housing here. Just drop our trigger in right there. Now we want grease down inside this where the bushing goes. I think we can probably just get away with, if I can get it to go. Smooth our grease out in here. Just use my hobby knife. Put the grease in. Right there. And I think we will put the grease on the pin, because that's easier to get to. Maybe too much. Alright, so there's that. So it looks like it's easier to drop this bar into place here first. And then we'll take and put our bushing. And that should be held in with the grease. And we will drop our transfer bar into place here like this. Okay. Now for our spring, I guess. Spring goes into that little hole. Like so. I think maybe we will try to start the screw in the washer, and then we'll flip the spring over onto its little retaining slot there. Here's our screw. There you go. So I'm going to start this screw in. Now this is the 12mm long screw. That's a 2x12. So we're going to start our screw in, and then we're going to set the spring because I don't have enough fingers to hold all this together at the same time. And there's our spring. We just flip that over. There's a little flat recess right there where the spring's supposed to go. Alright, I am going to have to hold that. Just like so. Okay. And now we continue driving the screw in until it is flush. So they say specifically here in the instructions to make sure that the screw goes all the way down. So I guess like so. So that shouldn't be able to pop up out of there. I don't think I'm all the way down. According to their diagram, I'm not all the way down. Whoops, there we go. I could have picked a better screwdriver. You can see what I'm doing. I'm pressing on that screw. Make sure that it doesn't wobble. Okay, so the screw's in place. So in theory, you pull the trigger and the transfer bar slides back and forth. Okay. That part works so far. And then we have our lock. So they tell us here about the lock for the trigger. So if we turn our lock over, it's not supposed to move far enough to engage the battery. Yeah, not real enthusiastic about that lock. But there we go. All right, let's see what we got next. All right, step 4. We have our C1 gear, our plastic bearing. It goes onto our drill shaft. We put a little grease on it there and there. Apparently no grease goes in there. Okay. It's probably pressed on. And then we put our C-clip on right here, or an E-clip. A lot of people call them the E-clip. Onto the shaft to retain the gear. This little note right here on how to remove, these are the sprue gates, so those have to be trimmed off. So we're going to do this part first, right here. So let's do that. As soon as I find my, we're just going to cut this loose. Right there, like that. And you can see how those sprue gates are. We should be able to flush cut those off of there if I can get in there to them. They actually just kind of snapped off. Don't want those sticking out in our, in our way. So I'm looking at the gear here. It looks like, it's square. Okay, well, not square, it's a hex. That's a hillbilly square, I guess. So on our shaft, down where the bearing goes, we need to put some grease. So on the drill shaft, a little bit of grease here. I'll tell you what, Tamiya, you could have gave us more grease. I don't know if petroleum jelly would be... We're just going to have to squeeze really hard. Okay, so there's that. Here's our bearing. So we're going to slide our bearing down. Make sure it's lubed. And then our gear goes on. And it presses down. It doesn't really press. It is a snug fit though. There's no play in it. And now we have to get our little clip on here. Oh, what am I looking for? Here we go. E-clip. Now if we do this right, we won't lose it. Well, we might lose it. That'll bring the video to a screeching halt, won't it? Okay. Wow. Bear with me. We'll get it. There it goes. Need to make sure it's all the way down and fully seated. There we go. Snapped right into place, and as you can see there, the little slots between the three tabs should be pretty much, well, it shouldn't be pretty much, it should be equal distance from the shaft all the way around. If it's not, then it's not fully seated, not fully seated. Okay, so we've assembled that part. Okay, so this is the assembly right here that we just finished, and a 3mm washer plus C5. Now that's the part that has a big hole in it and a little hole in it. And we have our C3 gear right there, and the shaft that it goes on, and then there's a bushing on the other end. There's the bushing with a single hole and our shaft. So we're going to go ahead and assemble this. Now we have to grease these contact points, and also on the shaft, and that contact point there for the gear. We're going to do the best we can. Probably better to put the grease on the shaft. Thank you, Tamiya, for putting so much grease in there for us. I'm pretty sure we're not going to have any grease left in the tube by the time we're done. So that's our 3mm washer. And a little bit of grease. Come on. There we go. I'm absolutely certain that this is going to spread the grease around for us. If it runs. Oh yeah, that's nice. Okay, so that's together. And we got to put grease on this end right here. Must be a grease shortage out there somewhere. I think this gear, can we just slide through that? Yeah, I'll just slide through that. So, easiest thing to do is probably stack this together like that. I don't know. Am I working out of frame? Probably. So, I'm just going to stack that together. Put some grease on it. Put grease up at this end. And it should pretty much distribute itself. As long as we get the gear in the right direction. Okay, very nice. Yep. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Gosh. Okay, that's probably too much. Too much, Johnny. What are you doing, hillbilly? There we go. Alright. There we go. Got it together. And again, I think I was up out of the frame. I'm sorry. I'm trying to watch what I'm doing. Now, I think it shouldn't be an issue putting this assembly in and then put the second assembly in because, well, it's a gear. It'll roll, right? There we go. Sits down in there nicely. Starting to look good. So, last gear. I usually cut away for this, but it's just one gear. And these little sprue gates, they just pop right off. So we've got that. Now we need a shaft. A little pin shaft here. A little bit of glue. Glue. No, not glue, guys. Don't put glue on it. There's no glue in this kit, okay? We will put a little bit of grease on it. And we're going to slide that in place. And it looks like they want grease on the ends. So we're going to make sure that we do have grease right here where it's a possible contact friction point. Of our gear to the housing. Okay. Just even that up. And we're just going to drop it into place here. Voila. Just like so. Excellent. I like that. Now we do need to put grease on the teeth. I imagine the gears will distribute it for us, I hope. We'll just put it here and there. And this is, they really could have gave us more grease. Really could have. But then again, I would have probably had grease everywhere, so. Being a mechanic, I like to make sure we got plenty of grease on stuff. Okay. And it will distribute itself, I'm pretty sure. Okay. Pretty sure. Okay. Let's go to the next step. Okay, step 5. This is where we install our motor assembly. The bottom contact, which is also the actual switch that turns our drill on and off. The other side of the housing, and we will put batteries in it and close the door. Then we'll pull the trigger. So, let's see. I think the first thing we need to do probably is to get this piece oriented correctly. So that's our contact. Where does it go? It goes over top. Oh, I see. There's a little slot right there. And it goes over top and in the slot, like that. That's the way it goes. Then we have this retainer that goes in. Yeah. Goes in like that. That kind of floats in there, but now I did put some grease on this little gear, and it just got, you can see them down in there. The platform or the mounting piece, the gray piece, goes down in there, and the motor sits right there. And of course the contacts go down. It won't go in any other way, I'm assuming. I'm assuming it doesn't go in any other way. Alright, so that's our motor. So it looks like we are pretty much there. And I don't see, there's nothing that's going to keep us from putting this together other than me. So this slides down over top. And it's held together with 4 screws. So these are the 10mm self-tapping screws. I didn't get them out, sorry. There we go. 3 and 4. Okay, 4 screws. We'll get them all in their holes. Get down. Are you down? I don't know if it's down or not. We'll find out here in a minute. There we go. There we are. Didn't want to drop down in there. So this is where the big screwdriver comes in. We're going to go ahead and start all of our screws so that they don't fall out while we're messing with this. And remember, you just need your screws to go in until they are snug, not anymore. So you can kind of feel it stop. That's really all you need, because it is plastic, guys. And if you over tighten them, you will strip them out. And we don't want to do that. We got this far. We need to get a little farther, don't we? So I can feel that one's nice and stopped. That one's nice and stopped. Chances are we'd have a gap. Kind of got a gap right there. Oh, it pressed together. That's okay. We're still good. You kind of see it flexing. Can you see that? So I know I'm not seated all the way. Yep, there we go. Voila. Does it work? So we do have in the bottom here our battery direction. So hopefully we don't get that messed up. And if we are lucky, I have batteries that actually work. So it'd be pretty bad if I had to stop the video and run out and get batteries. I guess it's in. Doesn't seem. There we go. There we go. So the batteries are in. This is our battery cover. There we go. Is it going to work? What do you think? Actually runs kind of smooth. Oh, feel the horsepower. All right. So now on to step 6, which is install our chuck, put on our collet, insert drill bit, push and hold our shaft stopper while attaching our drill, and then we just simply tighten it down. So there are two chucks for this thing. There's a 1mm to 2mm, and then a 2mm to 3mm, which means that you can't use just any of our modeling type drill bits like these, because those chucks are not going to grip these little bitty drill bits, because that is smaller than 1mm. But there are plenty of those other bits out there that's got the larger shanks on them, and we can use those, and anything down to 1mm. So 1 to 2mm. Why will that even go in? Oh, it does go in there. Okay, so all right. So it'll be fairly easy to do. I'll just get it started. So you press and hold your button. Oh, there it goes into the little slot. Tighten it up, release, make sure that the button comes back out. I don't know, was I out of frame when I did that? Probably. So that button, make sure it pops back out. Anyway, I don't need that collet. Now we do have some extra parts, which is good. There's one extra 3mm washer and 2 extra 2mm washers, and they gave us 2 extra E-clips there. I guess they expected us to lose them. I fooled them. I didn't lose it. So All right, it sounds pretty good. So next thing is drill holes. Caution, do not place hand ahead of drill point. It may cause injury. That's a good caution there. Okay, what are we going to drill first? Let me find something. Okay, this is a leftover part from the very first model I ever did on this channel. This is the soft top in the up position for the Kugelwagen. Sacrificial polystyrene part. Okay, so will it drill? I don't know how sharp this bit is. To me, it gave us a bit. I mean, yeah, they gave us the bit. So what do you say we see if it will drill a hole? Ooh. Well, that's a lot easier than doing it with a pin vise, I can tell you that. So now we have aerated our Kugelwagen top. So what about pine? So this is a pine construction shim. So shouldn't have a problem with that as long as the bit is sharp, because it seems to have plenty of power. I drilled that pretty good. I am impressed. Wow. Okay, I've made a mess. So, what about this? Now this is, I think it's basswood plywood for building those plank on frame wooden boats, which I've never finished mine. I need to get back on that. So this is a little bit harder than just that basic pine, because it is a composite type plywood, and it just drills right on through, just like a drill. Okay, now all we need to do is put our sticker on. Handy drill. Where we want a sticker at? We'll put our sticker for our handy drill. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, look at that. Is there a recess in here somewhere for it to go? No, I don't see one. I don't think the instructions said where to put it. Doesn't say anything about it. That's fine. It's our drill. We can choose where to put our sticker. All we got to do is do it, right? Handy drill. We're going to put it right there. All right. All right, guys, there we are. We have our little handy drill right here, and it works, and it works really good. I really like it. Now, this come in really handy, especially if you're building ship models, and you want to drill out all those portals, or let's say you're going to remove a piece of polystyrene out of the inside of a part, and you need to drill a bunch of little holes, kind of connect the dot kind of thing to remove that. It'd be great for that. Also, like I said, we can get those drill bits that have the larger shanks, so the collet, or not the collet, but the chuck size is not a real issue, which I have ordered me a set of those. So you can get those for 10, 15 bucks for several pieces, 15, 20 different bits. So that's not a big deal. So what does this cost? Well, it cost me about $25. I think they've gone up since I ordered this one. They're probably up around 30 bucks, 32 bucks now. But with the strength of this little drill, I'm really amazed. I think it's really going to be handy. And if you're like me and your hand kind of cramps up, you know, trying to use these pin vices here, then if you have a lot of holes that you want to drill, this looks like it's to be the ticket. So I highly recommend it, as a matter of fact. It drills through wood like it's butter. So, if you're new to the channel and you're not a subscriber, I'd appreciate it if I've earned your subscription today, that you go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification bell, because you don't want to miss what's coming up next. Because next week we are building another model. Special thanks to all my subscribers. It's because of you guys that I keep making these videos. And leave me a little message in the comment section, if you would please, if you have this drill, and if you like it, and if you enjoy it. And if you have any issues, if you've had it for a while, myself and all the other viewers would like to know if this drill doesn't stand up for the test of time, but I think it will. It should be pretty good. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one.